to my channel, and I'm here with Jackson, and we met in an autonomy group. He just so happened to be in LA today, so we're meeting in person for the very first time. We've maybe spoken in the group a little bit, but so this is our first time together in person. But funny thing is that we actually were at the same Thanksgiving potluck here in Los Angeles, and we didn't even realize it.
Yep.
So we just had missed each other.
You had a sneaky suspicion it was me.
Yeah, I think I saw someone that looked familiar, and then it was him. So
yep.
Yeah.
So we almost met that time. Now we're finally officially meeting.
Here, yeah. And we've tried a few times too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not a breatharian. I know that you're kind of on the path a little bit, right?
Well, I mean the term itself, breatharian, is like kind of silly in a way, because I think we're all breatharian in the sense that we all breathe. Without eating, you would maybe not last very long. Without sleeping, whatever. But breathing is just, arguably necessary. And so I feel like we're all breatharian in a way. But you're saying that you're not a breatharian.
Well, I'm just saying I have not given up food. I still eat food.
Right.
And I know there's like different levels of, this lifestyle and this path. And I think for me, I was drawn to it maybe 7 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I found Ray Mayor,
mm-hmm.
and I read his book.
Yes.
And also The Miracle of Fasting by, what's his name? Paul Braggs. So I was reading all about fasting and just and I had been fasting my whole life. Like I started fasting, intermittent fasting, like once a week, 24 hours, once a week. I don't know, maybe when I was like 18.
Oh, wow.
And I've been doing this like my whole life, just like
really since you were 18, once a week, more or less?
More or less, yeah.
Oh, wow.
And then I started doing fasting. Then I found I'm trying to think. Well, then I did some psychedelics, and I would fast before I would do the psychedelics.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would just have these experiences where I was like, I felt so light, and I was like, I'm not supposed to eat food. I don't know. That's just kind of how I felt. So I've just been really fascinated with this lifestyle. I don't know if I'll ever become like a breatharian or become autonomous, but it is something I do feel drawn toward.
Mm-hmm.
And I love fasting. I love that, just that lightness, that, the stillness, the groundedness,
mm-hmm.
Just feeling so present, not having anything in my body.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's such an amazing feeling, and this euphoria. And I don't know, I just like when I'm fasting, like I feel more myself than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of what drew me to the group, and that's like kind of how we met and stuff. And then I did start, fasting more often. I think the most I've ever done was a 5-day water fast. I've done a 4-day dry fast. It's not easy for me to fast, so I don't force it. I don't push it. Like when it comes naturally, I'll do it.
Okay.
I
feel like as it should be. If it's difficult for you to fast, then maybe we shouldn't be fasting. Maybe we're forcing something. And I feel like,
and I haven't actually fasted in a while, because right now I'm focusing on eating habits.
Right.
I may have said this to you before in the group, but I'm focusing on just having the discipline to, which I'm still trying to do this, because it's like if I can't stop eating before I'm full,
mm-hmm.
I can't give up food. I have an addiction.
Makes
like
sense.
If I have control over how much I can eat or when I can eat, then it's like, to be in that control. And that's really what I think we're all seeking for, is to have control over what we put in our body.
To have, arguably that's one of the only things perhaps that we really do have control over. We maybe can't control.
Think about somebody who, sorry, go ahead.
No, we can control the air we live in unless we move away from that. So that's out of the question. And besides, it's probably a small percentage of like the pollution and intoxicants that we have in our body.
Yeah.
But we most certainly can't control like what we consume.
Well, remember I said like my aunt had cancer?
Yes, we were talking about that.
But she couldn't change her diet, so she's not in control. You know what I mean? Like we're not actually in control. Like we're prisoners in our own mind and our own body.
If you want to go a little bit deeper than that, I think you're definitely spot on. Even the diet itself, we're not in control over, because if we were, then we would just be obviously, choosing the best diets and the healthiest alternatives and
Right.
total self-control and all
Right.
that.
Right.
But I think fasting is great because it does, or fasting, or for example, being more conscious of mindfully consuming, because it does teach you about self-control, and it does teach you kind of the urges that you have. And I mean, if we're eating to the point where we're sick and we're feeling bloated, and like we're not enjoying the progression of the day because we just feel so bad, then I think that's a problem, or at least something to be looked into. And then if you do look into it deep enough, I think you'll find some insights, just about things in general. I'm sure you have, right? Ever since you were 18, fasting once a week, and maybe.
Well, what I've come to is I just have an addiction,
Mhm.
because I've given up alcohol, I've given up drugs, I've given up. I'm like mostly celibate, like for spiritual purposes.
Sure.
Even in my marriage, like my husband and I are just like, I'm harnessing this energy for creativity.
I think
Giving
that
up.
shows maturity too, in terms of the relationship, perhaps. But that's a
Yeah,
different topic, I think.
yeah, we'll get on that. We'll
Yeah.
get on. So I've also given up, binge watching, TV shows, and I'm not even in restaurants right now. Like I'm really trying to have like that self control, like really trying to like get to the root of these addictions. But
Right.
the last thing is like this food addiction,
Interesting.
And
Yeah.
I've been trying to like work through this food addiction, like build this healthy relationship with food, and I think that's why I was so drawn to like breatharianism, because I want to be free from the addiction.
Okay.
It's not even that I want to not like to be free from food.
Right.
I want to be free from the need to eat, like that
Sure.
need of like, because I'm not even hungry.
So yeah, so when you do get to eat, then you're doing so because of true pleasure, or because of true company, as opposed to some necessity, or because you feel bad if you don't eat. I feel like that's kind of what you're aspiring to somewhat, is to not feel that attachment or unhealthy relationship or addiction with the food, right? That's kind of what we're working toward.
What I'm working on right now is not eating for pleasure at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, because I remember you mentioned that you're like cutting out or reducing the amount of sodium.
Spices. Yeah, I'm not putting any. So I'm making everything very bland, like so bland.
Right. Interesting approach.
Like, think about it. Like, if you have something with flavor, like it's just like all these exciting stimulation. You know what I mean? It's like you're getting all this dopamine and everything. So it's like now you're like getting addicted to these flavors and the taste and everything. So I'm just trying something different. I'm just like trying to see.
I like that.
Like if removing the taste and the pleasure of it, and just eating for the need to eat for survival, or like just for nourishment, or whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
To see if that helps break addiction to the food.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's so far, like I've been doing it for a couple of weeks and it feels really good. So I have like, I'll eat some raw stuff, like raw fruits and veggies during the day, and then I'll just have like one cooked veggie meal at dinner with nothing on it, just steamed veggies and some like hemp seeds or chia seeds or something.
Yeah, I think it's important to experiment and see what works best for you, and I think that it's cool the way you're approaching it, which is cutting out all those things.
I've tried everything.
Right, because it's interesting. Like if you like figure out what you eat, like would you be eating what you're eating if it were not for the sodium and for the barbecue sauce and the ranch? Would you really eat that salad if it wasn't for
the dressing and everything? Well, I once, because a long time ago, I bought these potato chips and they had 0 salt. They were salt-free potato chips. And I tasted it, I was like, ew, I don't want that, because it had no salt on it. So the only reason I was eating those potato chips is because they had salt.
Right. Salt and maybe
salt,
some
oil, sugar, the spices,
The trifecta you'll never find in nature. I mean, arguably you're never going to find that Frankenstein perfect combination of all this sort of stuff. So it's really tricking our taste buds and really tricking our like reptilian brain. And it's like, I mean, really, like we're never going to find this in nature. So I appreciate that approach to natural approach.
Well, Dr. Furman, I don't know if you've ever heard of him. He wrote this book, Eat to Live. And
I have heard of that, yeah.
I really love his philosophy, because he's like, just eat to live. So if you're not hungry, don't eat. And if you, he goes, and then wait until you're actually hungry to eat, like because there's like this emotional cravings and toxic hunger. Like, don't feed that. Like, when your
Right.
body is physically hungry, then eat.
Mm,
And then before you're full, like, don't overeat, but
mm.
before you're full, stop eating.
Yes. I think that's a good point because we're talking about like, you know, uh, the pranic path, is one way we can phrase it, or breatharianism or autonomy or kicking addiction from, any substances, right? But I like what you're saying. How can you get to that point
Yeah, you got to master
if
this
you
first.
aren't even, how can you master not eating
if you
for,
can't
for a
even,
short
if
period
you
of
can't even
time?
master,
If you can't
yeah,
even master
like
eating,
stop eating when if you
right,
can't stop yourself from eating
right.
too much.
How can you get to Z if you haven't progressed all the way through? And I think a lot
Yeah.
of us do need to find a healthier relationship with food. And one of the things is understanding that it may not be, well, like as necessary, or at least to the degree that we're consuming as we thought it was. And that's, I feel like, the first step, realizing, oh, okay, we can have a relationship with food be more so a pleasure than the sort of necessity that we think we need to eat 2-3 times a day the whole week. And people feel very really antsy and uneasy if they skip a meal or two, or if they go a day without eating.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of what we're getting toward. And I like, that concept of eating to live, not living to eat. A lot of people live to eat. They get up. What's the first thing they do? They might have a coffee. It's a little ritual. And then what you talked about reminds me of Hippocrates, I think is who it was, who talks about how basically, like, what's the quote with Hippocrates? Let thy food be thy medicine be thy food.
Right.
And then after that, he said something like, whatever you feed is like, is what is, something like that. You might have to look into that, but it basically, like, if you're stressed out and you consume, you're not really addressing the root cause of the issue, which is, your stress, your anxiety,
And
what's
you're not
causing
even
that anxiety.
digesting the food either.
Interesting.
Yeah, because someone once told me, and this really made a lot of sense. You can't process emotions and digest food at the same time.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Never
so
thought about
think
it like
about
that.
it. When you eat, you are numbing the emotion because you can't process the emotion. So you're digesting. So it actually kind of buries the emotion.
Eating our feelings.
Eating the feelings, exactly.
So you're eating the feelings. You're not really eating the food at that moment.
Yeah.
Or you're diverting between the two,
right,
or something like that.
Yeah. So it messes up the digestion, and it also messes up processing the emotions. So it's kind of like,
interesting,
hurting both.
Interesting. Yeah,
I'm really big on, like, processing the emotions, because I don't know, I guess this path has like really made me so sensitive.
Okay.
I'm so sensitive to energy and emotions, and like I feel everything now. So it's like, it gets really intense sometimes.
I think we're already beings that are sensitive,
but it gets numbed.
But it gets numbed out by the food and by other means.
Right.
And I mean, our nervous system should be very much woke, and we should be turned on at all times, like animals and kids are always turned on, they're always high. But somehow we've seemed to, block certain centers that we, block certain centers with whatever substances, nicotine, alcohol, food, ferments.
So we're naturally, you're saying we're naturally sensitive.
I think we're naturally sensitive.
Intuitive, sensitive.
Sure. It's not far out. Like, even, for example, breatharianism, or whatever you want to call it, anedia, or, kicking the habit of eating, or eating to the degree that we do, is nothing extraordinary. It's very much within the bounds of human ability, is the way I see it. I mean, I haven't done a poll or haven't done too much research on it, but I have a gut feeling that our ancestors didn't eat three meals a day.
Yeah.
7 days a week.
They ate more like a few times a week.
Probably that's what feels right. That's what I've heard. That's what I feel. I haven't done too much research on it.
That feels good. You know, like a few times a week.
Sure.
I don't really have a goal to give up food completely, or, whatever. Like, if it happened, it happened. But I like the idea of, like, eating a few times a week and fasting more than I eat.
I think we already do that, because I mean, we're eating for just a few times a day, and it shouldn't really identify us to the degree that it does. I mean, we seem to be very, even right now, we're talking about food and not eating or eating, but we seem to be very food bound, this culture, this 3D reality.
Right.
So we're very much, I mean, we're having this human experience, we're having this corporeal experience, and obviously food and drink does have a part to play in it, but it's
I
not
think
all
for
that
me,
life
it's like
is.
the social thing.
It's a big
More
component.
with my my husband, because this is like our ritual. We like to have dinner together while we watch a Hallmark movie
Yeah.
every night. So it's like I get excited about the food because the movie's coming, and it's like, you know
Sure.
what I mean? So it's like it's really not a good correlation to put the two together. But I'm like, that's like how we spend time. But that's
Right.
I mean, that's how humans bond, is they bond over meals, they bond over, like food is everywhere. So
For a lot of people.
for a lot of people, yeah.
Yes.
And that's why we're here, we're not making this interaction about, like, we're not sitting
Just
here
a
like eating.
persimmon, I must
Yeah.
admit.
He brought me a persimmon, which I'll eat later unless you want to
Yes.
share it.
But yeah, we're here just for a very nice,
Yeah.
filling conversation, and I mean, that's true sustenance. I feel like is the company, and then the food is more so just an excuse for us to share something together. A lot of times, let's grab a bite, let's grab a drink,
Or
and
the
that's totally fine.
awkwardness. Like, let's say you go to a party and you don't know anyone, some sort of an event. The thing that makes you feel comfortable is like that safety, is like, I have a drink in my hand.
Oh yeah.
Or I'm at the buffet bar and I'm doing something. Because if I'm just standing there by myself, no one to talk to, I look weird, I feel weird. It's that social anxiety that we don't know how to fit in,
If you're at a party, you want to grab a red cup and at least meter la coba, or just look the part, even if you have some lemonade in there. So I feel that pressure that we have in our day and age to
pressure of society,
relate via food.
Yeah. Because let's say you go out to dinner with people, and let's say you're fasting or something and you're not eating, the entire conversation will shift to you and not eating.
It can.
So like Brian Johnson, I don't know if you know who he is. So he stops eating at 11 a.m. every day. So when he goes out to dinner with people, he'll order a salad. He won't eat it, and he'll just take the fork and he'll just move the things around on the
Precious.
plate so that people don't feel uncomfortable.
That's awesome.
That's a good idea. I never thought about that.
And
actually.
that fools people. They're like, oh.
They're not paying attention. They're just like, he's moving his fork around.
Right.
Yeah.
I think who does that too? Mira o merzel mirit, life without food.
Life without food.
Yeah.
What is that?
It's she's an anthropologist, I think, and she's a PhD in music, but she studied different cultures throughout the world for 10 years, and all different cultures she found out. She studied have some sort of medicine men or shamans, and they have some expertise in that world of eating very little or not at all for periods of time. So they might have rituals where, like Native Americans, where they go days like an ecstatic dance with drumming and not eating, and that's supposed to heighten their senses and connect them with the divine within. But I mentioned her because she has a funny part where when she's socializing, sometimes she'll just like have like a bowl of hot water or something like that, and just pretend she's doing it just so people can be at ease, because like I totally empathize if sometimes if you're not eating that day and people are like, what's wrong with you, what are you doing, are you sick? It's like, no, I mean, my routine is to eat before 11 a.m. or whatever your time window is. But it's interesting navigating this world and trying to be loyal to your values and your belief system and how you feel, and at the same time relating with people that you're beloved, right?
Well, it's interesting what you said about when you're like creating or doing, like having fun, or even just like in love or whatever it is, and you're not hungry, you don't even think about food. And the same thing with sleep too, is like when I get like the biggest burst of creativity at night sometimes. Sometimes I'm up till 6 a.m. just creating, and I'm not even thinking about food, I'm not thinking about sleep, I'm not thinking about anything, because I'm just in the zone, and I'm just in that flow state. So,
that's a great state to be in.
Yeah. I mean, I think the more we could just live in that flow state, but society makes it so hard to be in the flow state because, well, one, like you were talking about the nervous system, our nervous systems are just like so on edge all the time. It's hard to relax. And then we're like in this constant like fight or flight majority of the time. And then, just the lifestyle of like, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to go here, I have to work, like, the busy schedules and everything. It's like,
Yep.
I mean, there's like select few people who are living like this very easy, free,
right, right,
freestyle life, like just in the flow state constantly, but it's
sure,
very rare,
Those are good points. Because it's sometimes what drives us to engage in like vices and bad habits would be some sort of disease or anxiety that we feel. So if you were to eliminate that disease and that anxiety, then you wouldn't be so inclined to indulge in these bad habits. And I mean, I get what you're saying, that it's hard. I mean, I empathize with you. I'm also like very careful like how we say things, because a lot of times it's beliefs and self-imposed limitations, but it can be
I feel
hard
like
in the society.
I feel like I found a way to be in a flow state majority of the time.
That's awesome.
Like I'm constantly creating, and like when I'm not creating, I'm just trying to focus on being present. But I've kind of rearranged my life to be like that.
Yeah.
I think it takes a little bit of effort, but it can be done.
Especially, well, you could say here in Los Angeles. I don't know.
It's just another excuse. We're in the Matrix here.
Well, it's just more of a city. I mean, there's always excuses. I feel like at the end of the day, if you really want to change, you'll modify your situation so that.
Well, one of the things that I do that I think helps is I ride a bike. I don't drive a car on a regular basis. My husband and I share a car, but he takes the car, whatever he's going to do during the day. I'll bike if I go anywhere. And I think that to me, that's just more stress-free. So I think like finding little things like that to make your life less stressful.
Yes.
Because the less stressful it is, the more you can just relax into the moment and
definitely,
let your mind go and just surrender and just and then those ideas come. Then you start getting creative and stuff.
Definitely.
Well, if your life is full of stress, it's so hard to access that state, even for a moment, let alone prolong it. Extend it to be to live in that state.
Agreed. And we seem to be in this state of fight or flight a lot of times, and something very easily can trigger us to be in the state, like someone honks at us, or someone cuts us off, and then we tap into this like fear, amygdala, reptilian sort of side of us, and sometimes that like is engaged for hours. Like I guess it comes down to when we used to get chased by predators, whatever, and that was activated, or fear, fight, or flight. But it seems like nowadays and age, we sometimes can't distance ourselves from that. So instead of a brief little window of like, cortisol, stress, or whatever, anxiety, it's like sometimes it tends to be the whole day, or, a lot of people live in stress. And when you live in stress, they're not really them. You're not really like in your natural state. And so
especially
how can you,
women.
You think so?
Yes, because women are being forced into their like masculine energy. And
I see that.
They don't feel safe. Women don't feel safe in this world, this society. It's like built for men, So for me, recently, my biggest things were regulate my nervous system and soften into my feminine essence. That has been my main focus for like the past year or so. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's what I've really been trying to to embody, but it's not easy. Like when women like, I don't know. I think it's just like, I think it has to do with like generations, of like generational stuff,
trauma,
right?
Or
yeah,
memories,
and just the pressure that women feel like to have to do everything. Like women feel like we got to take care of it all.
You think that's relatively recently? Because I feel like at one point there used to be more of a, should we call it, a patriarchal structure where, like in the 50s, for example, this core unit, the separation of labor and stuff. Do you feel like that's been harder for women in some ways to feel that, like, now they have to carry the torch?
I think women wanted their freedom, and now we're like, shit, we should go back to the way things were. Because children are now in schools, both parents are working, no one's having dinner at the table together.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like the mom, like, why are you going to work? Like the husband the husband should be able to provide. Like I know it's like hard with like the workforce and today, like I know it's like, you know, the inflation and the prices, like it's just such a weird time to be alive right now, you know.
That it is.
Like I feel like you know, back years ago, like they had, I feel like it was probably more affordable to buy a home, you know. Now it's like, you know, gosh, you need like $1 million to buy like a home,
Yes.
you know. So it's just different, you know. And I feel like that puts a lot of stress on children, you know, when both parents are not home and they're both stressed and the mom's not there. Um, you know, because like when the mom's like ripped away from the child, they have to go to work,
Mm-hmm.
and then they come home and they have to like do all this stuff, and then like children are just grown up neglected,
Mm.
you
Yeah,
know.
I see that. I mean, besides like maternity leave, you might not have very much interaction between like the family and the child as much as you'd like. I mean, 7 hours or so the kids at school, and you know, a lot of times, you know, you don't get to pick your teacher, you don't get to pick your school even, you know, you're assigned to this zip code, and then the parents, they do their 8 hours or more or 2 jobs or whatever, and then they come back
Yeah,
and ideally have some time with the child, but
I think we just need a whole restructuring of society.
just like turn it upside down.
Yeah, like the school system's not working, government's not working, healthcare's not working, nothing's working. You know what I mean? So let's just try something different, you know?
Yeah.
But,
I mean, I've met some people along the way because I've traveled this year quite a bit to a few different countries, like 5 countries within this last year. And I've noticed like, well, a few examples of people that seem to be living like an autonomous lifestyle, at least in the sense of like, hey, we're trying to get our own power grids and not be so dependent on, you know, a paycheck from someone foreign. I think it's really admirable, and I think
yeah.
people are doing it in their own way.
I feel like I wish it wasn't so scattered. Like people had to work so hard to like build these little communities. I wish like there was just a whole country for people who wanted to live like that,
Mm.
you know, or like a city or a country, or you know what I mean? Like I'm living here in Los Angeles, so I'm seeing things from a whole different perspective from how someone in, I don't know, like a rural Ireland community is living, you know?
Right.
So it's like this is just like what I'm seeing like in the midst of like being in the epicenter of the matrix. I feel like that's what
Right.
LA is.
Right.
I feel like we are the epitome of what the matrix is.
Mm.
You know?
I mean, it's a hub of a lot of things going on, and
Yeah.
we could take this conversation a lot of different ways. Dihydrogen monoxide, water. In chemistry in high school, they gave us this article. It was the dangers of dihydrogen monoxide, and it's like they asked us, "What should you do with this like chemical?" And people are like, "We should ban it. It's awful. People die every year. They get choked by it." It's like, "What is this chemical? We should ban it." And teaching, well, dihydrogen monoxide just means H2O.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, we're gonna learn how to read chemicals. Don't worry about it. But
Speaking of chemicals, um, I don't use chemicals.
oh,
Yeah.
don't use chemicals.
No, no, I stopped using chemicals on my skin. Well, on my skin. Actually, we don't
Huh.
even use them in the home either.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, it's chemicals. Like I saw a documentary on chemicals of what the stink or something. I forget what it's called, but I mean, our skin's the biggest organ.
Right.
Absorbs things
In 20 seconds or 28 seconds.
Yeah, and basically eating everything that we put in our skin and consuming that, and goes to our vital organs, I would imagine, and then we have to kick that out of our system.
Right.
So why would we have to, for who are we doing this? I wonder a lot of times, like why women wear makeup. I think there's like, you're very beautiful.
I used to wear.
You probably don't. You're not wearing that much
I have
makeup
nothing.
or any makeup.
The only thing I have on is a little mascara, but
Yeah.
no, I don't. I stopped putting stuff on my face because, okay, this was my goal. I used to wear so much makeup, and I had like rosacea, and I would break out, and my skin just looked kind of patchy and everything. And then I saw these girls who were like really healthy, and they had gorgeous glowing skin. So that was my goal. I was like, I want to have beautiful skin from the inside out without having to wear makeup. So that was kind of like a big motive for me, like eating healthy, actually.
Oh, eating healthy, yeah.
Everything, really,
Right.
yeah. I kind of wanted to like give up wearing makeup.
That's very nice.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like a friend of the family says that if you don't wear makeup, it's like you know, you're giving a shit when you wear makeup. You know, but I feel like for who are we doing it? You know, are we doing it you know, to feel good about ourselves? Are we doing it to please the opposite sex? Are we doing it because of other women tell us that that's how we're doing it? Or like,
I like wearing makeup. Like I like the way I feel when I get all dressed up and wear makeup. Sure. But I don't have a reason. I wouldn't have a reason to wear it on a daily basis.
Yeah, I think it's fine.
Like if I went to like a gala or something. Hey, babe, my husband's here. Oh. Like if I went to like a gala or something, you know, like I don't know, maybe I would. But I think women just like to express themselves.
That's fine.
Know? Yeah.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. It's just being mindful of, you know, once again what we're consuming and for what reasons.
Yeah. So tell me about your journey specifically, because I know that you.
Oh, it's a spiral. It's always going.
Okay.
It hasn't ended, but
what attracted you to, like? I mean, because we met in the autonomy group. So what attracted you to that group or that lifestyle?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I could answer that a few different ways. One of them being I was recently in Peru for a few weeks with some friends, and we were kind of living an autonomous lifestyle as much to the best that we could. And once we parted ways, I felt like I could use some community that is oriented around health and wellness, and fasting and eating little or not at all for periods of time is a health message, is a way that you feel good. We talked about how, you know, you feel your best when you have, you know, nothing, you don't feel bloated, obviously. So for me, it was just a pull toward a sense of community, which I very much enjoyed when I was in South America this past few years, or past year. And so that's how I came about. I was drawn to this particular group, which is, I'm sure you can find a bunch, you know, in Telegram or whatever, but the one we're referring to, I think it's called Autonomy, just Autonomy, right? On Telegram. It's with a dry fasting group on YouTube. Mm-hmm. And so you can probably find that yourself if you're interested.
So there are a few people in the autonomy community, like that. What's her name? Nastya or?
Yeah, Natalia Zelovich is one person. I think she's in Kenya right now. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's in Kenya, and I think she might have even phrased or came up with the term autonomy, coined it.
So we watched a few interviews with her, and apparently she's really big on, you know, no food, no water, no sleep. And I think she did that for like 2 years or something, if I'm not mistaken.
That's what she says. Sure.
That's what she says.
Yes.
Yeah.
I take everything with a grain of sand.
Yeah.
Grain of sand.
I don't know.
Grain of salt. English is my third language, and I'm
is
still.
It really?
Yeah, it's my third language.
What other languages do you speak?
I speak Spanish is my first, Italian is my second.
Wow.
And then English I learned.
I would never have known.
When I was 10, yeah.
I would have never known.
But I take it with a grain of salt or a grain of sand, or I take it, you know. So I think, you know, people that claim these things, like I haven't eaten for 2 years or something like that, I think they're either nuts, they're deranged, they're lying to our faces for whatever means. Maybe they want attention or they want to sell something, or there's something to it. You know, there might be telling the truth. I don't rule it out. I don't rule it out, to be honest with you. It does sound far out, but that's how I take someone's testimony. I mean, all knowledge has to be first verified. It's got to be experimented upon if you want to get to that point.
Otherwise, they haven't studied it enough. Nobody's really done studies on people who claim.
And it's fair enough, because what are we supposed to do? Put them in a cage for 2 years?
Right.
And then, you know, observe them? Like, that would be probably very unnatural for a lot of people. Right. So, and the other thing too would be that people are decentivized from encouraging this sort of thing. Like, for example, the Guinness Book of World Records. Why haven't we seen her there? Why haven't we seen other people like that? The reason being is because they don't want to incentivize people to hurt themselves, right? So the Guinness Book of World Records discourages people from not eating and from not sleeping.
You could really hurt yourself.
That's what what they say,
if you don't
and it's
know
true.
what you're doing,
it's
or your
true.
level of consciousness
Sure.
is not, because if you believe that you will die without food or sleep, then
That's the power of nocebo. It's the
yeah,
opposite of placebo. If you think
right.
something bad's going to happen to you, it probably will. So if you think that you're going to die without eating food for a period of time, and you don't eat food for a period of time, you very well may die if that's your belief system.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and
There's so much we don't know about the human body and consciousness. Like,
sure,
it's just so fascinating.
sure,
And we're all just having our own experience here together.
yes.
It's like we're together, but it's individualized, and then we get to just share and explore and experiment and learn and grow, and
I think it's very important to do that. Like, hey, I'm having this human experience. Are you having the same thing? Yeah,
yeah.
I'm here.
What's your
Yeah,
experience
like,
like?
are you there? Is there someone behind there? Because from my point of view, sometimes it feels like it's just me, and I wonder if there's anyone else. As I check in, hello, is there anyone there?
Yeah.
And we can exchange our points of view.
Right.
But I think we should also be careful, because especially like in this autonomous community, there's so many different people with so many diverse points of view that if you like just adhere to or subscribe to one point of view, you're ruling out what your journey could be, your potential could be. And so if someone says, for example, Anastasia Zelovich, just because we mentioned her as an example, she says, you can't go without eating for prolonged periods of time unless you also exclude sleep. So, which is interesting, you know what I mean? Right. So for her, it's like, no, you want to not sleep for a few days, and then fasting's going to be easy. So what if that wasn't the case for you? What if you did have a relationship with sleep, and you could manage to sleep a few hours, and you know what I mean? So my point is that we should.
For me, like, okay, from my point of view on that would be, I think, I don't know. I don't think I would ever force not sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
I think, like I said, like when I get really creative and I'm not tired, I'll just go all night, and I'm not worried. I won't force myself to sleep.
Perfect.
But I won't force myself to not sleep either.
Sure. I like that.
Yeah.
I mean,
because it's like fasting. If fasting comes naturally to me, because like we don't want to cause stress on the body.
Right.
At least I don't. So if fasting is not coming easy to me, and I try to force myself to fast, I'm causing myself more damage than I am not, because it's stressful to me in that moment.
You are.
Yeah.
And you're having a whiplash effect too. There's a pendulum effect. You know what I mean? If you push too far on one side, you're going to get a whiplash effect in the other, especially if it doesn't come easier naturally. So I think that's pretty...
Okay, so back to your story.
Pretty sageous, auspicious point of view. Back to my story, yeah. Okay. So just in terms of like this path, this particular path that we're talking about.
Was it spiritual or health related mostly?
Well, like you have had some pretty like uplifting experiences. And I've meditated since I was about 16 years old, pretty religiously, you could say. I've done transcendental meditation, meditating 20 minutes a day, twice a day, at least. And I did Kriya Yoga initiation with SRF fellowship, so I've dabbled in Kriya Yoga. And so like I've had this, I guess, background of meditation and just playing with different states of consciousness. And there was, there's just been times where I felt so high, so ecstatic, so blissed out, that like I'm just not hungry right now. I feel like I feel fine. I feel fine. Like, so that's where the idea came from of, well, if we could just somehow maintain this state of consciousness, then we would really not turn to vices and distractions and addictions and bad habits as much as we do. If we could just keep in this the state, whatever you call it nowadays. What do they call it? Alpha is the more relaxed. There's a beta or theta. Or these like very deep, slow brainwave states, where it's almost like mystical religious experiences. So that's how it came about. And for me, it was just one of those. Like, and I love how these happen.
And maybe that's why we feel so good when we're fasting, just because our brain is in the theta state or something, or alpha.
Fasting's interesting because by fasting, you can see some sort of the anxiety that you feel. You know what I'm saying? Like, it allows you to come to face with that emotional side of you that a lot of times we're pushing down, like we're eating our feelings a lot of times. And so if you don't eat your feelings, so you're going to have to come to grips or face to face with your feelings, right?
So I don't know if you want to share about this, but when you were in, where was it? What country?
I was, well, last South American country was Panama. I was only there for a day, but I was in Chile for a couple months.
Because you were practicing where you were eating like one
and in Peru for
meal
in a
every
couple
other
months.
day or something like that.
Yeah, like that was in Peru.
Okay.
It was in this very
I did
nice
something similar to that here, just at home on my own, but I'll share with that after. Yeah.
Sure. So that was, well, to begin with, in a very nice place in Peru, right? So very remote, so you can just kind of focus on yourself. I think that just facilitates peace, you know. And I was eating once every other day. Yeah, it was a mono meal diet of fruit, which is what was accessible there. And we'd have a gentleman bring it in with his little motorcycle once a week for us,
Wow.
or we would have one of us go there once a week and bring in a haul. And it was in Oxapampa, or a little ways away from Oxapampa, Paramasul, I believe it was what it was called. It was a very small place, very beautiful. Gosh, you just look around you, it was all like landscapes and the river you'd hear constantly. We drink from the river,
Wow.
you know, and
wow. In
the hammock. Yeah, we'd stay in the tents. And the weather was just starting to get just gorgeous. You know, I would have liked to have stayed there a little bit more. And it's just, you put yourself in an environment where you don't feel so much anxiety, where you can look within. And I feel like then fasting, or just being, whatever you want to call it, comes way more naturally. Yeah. And so that was about a month where I did that. And just recently I did that too. Ever since I left Mexico City, I've been eating just about every other day within a window of time, except the last few days or so I've been eating once a day for the most part. Sometimes I widen the window if I'm feeling like it. I don't force anything, and my weight has stabilized over the past year or so. I have a healthy BMI. I mean, I'm pretty tall. I could maybe use a little more, bodybuilding if I really wanted to. Right. People do. I mean, just whatever you're into, right?
Right.
But I have a healthy BMI, and I feel great. And I'm just playing with food, how we should do it. We're being told, don't play with your food. It's okay to play with your food. Play with your food. Enjoy it.
Yeah. Well, I like what you said. Well, it's just having the awareness of. You mentioned something earlier, and I wanted to mention how it comes down to awareness. I guess just being aware of, like,
not seeing food as perhaps a necessity of 3 times a day, but more so like a more flexible.
You said, like, sometimes you're not hungry, like, yeah. Sometimes you are, and then just being aware of that, and like not having to like have the 3 meals a day, regardless of whether or not you're hungry.
Right.
That's
a big first step.
I don't know, like if it's like lunchtime, like that you usually have lunch, and you're just not hungry, or you're already full from breakfast. Yes. Maybe just skip lunch and go to dinner. Right. But like you have to have that awareness.
Sure. Yeah. You can play with it too. I mean, if you notice, a lot of times when we eat, like, you understand why you eat. Why do you eat? A lot of times we eat because we feel like we're getting energy when we eat. But is it really energy that you're getting when you eat? Or is it more so a stimulation, right? So, like, for example, if you're into like drinking alcohol, right?
Yeah.
If you stop drinking alcohol, how are you going to feel? You're going to feel bad. You're going to feel like you're, an addict, right? Like the morning after hangover, right? And so when you drink that first beer, a lot of times people do that to kill a hangover, to drink beer, which is a terrible idea. Then you're going to feel better. You're going to be like, ooh, I have a lot of energy thanks to the beer. But is it really the beer that gives you the energy? Is it really the tobacco that gives you the energy? Yeah. So I'm just comparing that to food a little bit.
Yeah.
Because sometimes the food doesn't give us energy. In fact, when we eat a lot of times, what do we want to do? We want to take a siesta.
Right.
you know, want to lay
Right.
down. You know what I mean? And
Almost always,
does
right?
any
Yeah.
runner really eat a huge meal that day when they're running? No, that even when they're doing long bicycle rides, they might have a little sip of water, not even that much. They don't eat. No one eats
What
when
about
they're.
carb loading? It doesn't that
That's
thing?
another thing. They can do that the day before,
Oh, gotcha,
but
gotcha.
no one does carb loading the day of.
Were you ever a drinker or a smoker?
No.
No?
No.
You never drank? Your
I
liver's like
have
golden. You're like,
drunk before,
yeah.
but I never got stuck with it, and I just experimented a few times. Like, this is how it feels like to be not mean,
Wow.
inebriated, and
Maybe that's because you started meditating at such an early age that maybe, I don't know, maybe it just didn't fulfill you in that way.
yeah, I mean, I think it's, I don't know. I think
Maybe your
over,
consciousness was already like,
yeah,
you
I'm
know,
just,
like above that. Not above, I don't want to say
it was the
above 'cause
programming of my parents as
yeah.
well. You know,
Oh,
it's
gotcha.
it's bad news to drink, and
Oh, that's
I
good.
grew up with that, so it's
I try to tell that to my daughter now.
yeah.
Like, don't drink.
So I mean, it's just like any other thing. I don't want to get hooked with something that's bad,
That's good. Yeah.
and I don't want to, I don't want to do drugs. So, I
Yeah.
mean,
So
I don't want to be dependent upon anything.
yeah, I did a lot of drugs and a lot of drinking in my earlier days. And I had wanted, as I started getting more spiritual, I had wanted to like start cutting back on drinking. And then I was like only drinking at social settings. And then even I would go to social settings and I'm like, this doesn't even feel good. I don't even want to be here anymore.
Right.
Like, this doesn't feel like it's aligned. So then I would go out and I wouldn't drink, but I would still go in the settings, and that felt even worse.
I know.
Right?
I
So,
know.
but I would still drink because it was hard to give up. So I'd go maybe a month or two, and then I'd end up having a drink or whatever. It wasn't, and I just couldn't quit. I couldn't quit the alcohol, even though I didn't like consider myself an alcoholic.
And the influence of this good guy here took you away from drinking somewhat. That's good.
When I met him, you want to bring up something so you can sit? You want to sit?
I'll come back, yeah.
Oh, I love you so
Hi.
much. Okay. So when this guy and I met, you want to come behind right here? It's kind of wet though. Okay. So this is my husband, Daniel. And we met through texting. So we just started texting. And I was like, I really like this guy, and I feel like this could go somewhere. And he told me that I was drinking the night that we were talking. Okay, this was the first night that we were having a conversation. And he told me that he didn't drink. And I was like, wow, because I just thought he was such an amazing guy. I was like, if I want to be with a guy like this, I need to step up my game.
Okay.
And that night I was drinking. That was the last night that I had a drink.
Very
It's
nice.
been 8 years now that I haven't had a sip of alcohol.
Wow, that's very impressive.
Overnight, like I was like, that's it. I'm not doing it ever again.
I think it's great that we can have like, I think the sign that you have a right partner is if they make you be the better version of you, so you feel like you have to in a way keep up with them or be at the same wavelength. Yeah. But you're both in a way rising together,
right?
Rather than hugging each other for dear life. And a lot of us, I feel like the big problem that we have in our society is that we're searching for love without, right. And so that's basically like a beggar, like looking for the pot of gold in another. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
if we can allow each other to rise like this, I think it's great.
Yeah. And
kicking habits and dependencies like that is really empowering. And I think that's really what autonomy is about not having dependency upon anything. It can be interdependent. I like that, being interdependent with you. I got to know you. We got to relate human experiences, but I'm not dependent on you.
I feel like it's a little different in relationships though, because I do love the bond in a partnership.
Yes.
It's special.
But without that cleanliness, right?
There's no cleanliness.
Right.
I mean, you got to remove the jealousy. You have to remove the codependency. You have to remove the neediness. And then what's left is just this, there's no power struggle. The energy between the partners is just like this free flowing, harmonious, beautiful energy. And it's freeing, but it's like, I don't know how to explain it. I mean, it took us so long to get here, but it's like amazing.
I feel like it's maybe freeing also for both sexes, but for females as well. I see it because, like you were talking about, allows you to like accentuate your femininity, right? So you can be more in tune with your feminine aspect. So if you feel that support maybe from a masculine energy, then you can kind of
I
unleash
think it's
that feminine
important
energy.
because look, if a man is like, I want to be with you, but I don't want to commit. I'm autonomous. Like I don't want to, you know, like like together, but you got to like pay your own way kind of thing. It's like you're really not looking out for her.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And a woman can't really settle and just be there for you, to support you and to love you. Like I'm all for these days of like a man taking care of a woman and a woman taking care of a man in other ways. Like that
Sure.
doesn't mean like
However they want to do it.
however they want to do
Right.
it. But for me, like, like for me to be able to like settle into my feminine side and my, like to be the best for him,
Right.
that stress has to come off of me. Like that pressure has to come off of me. Like I have to feel safe emotionally, physically, financially. Like I need to feel good. And then a woman can thrive and she will literally give you the best life you can ever imagine, you know?
I like that point of view.
Yeah.
It's coherent. I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like,
that's really what I feel like, you're relying on someone in a way, or not being like dependent or like, codependent or whatever, but like, hey, I have these things to offer you, and you have these things to offer me, so why don't we join forces and we can be this great powerhouse? I think that's what a nice relationship is
think about it in a business, right? You don't have the CEO and the CFO doing the exact same thing, trying to compete with each other. It's like, you have your skills and talents, I have my skills and talents, and then, we make up for where the other lacks,
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think there's like a problem in our day and age where we want to have everyone do everything at the same time. Like, for example, if we take like engineering, where like 50% of engineers have to be women, 50% have to be men. But no, men have a proclivity, inclination to be more into things. We like to build machines and stuff. More so.
Women we birth things into the world. We're creative.
Women are more so into people, you know what I mean?
Community,
into
community,
emotion,
bringing people together, emotion. Yeah.
Right.
I don't think we should be competing. I think I'm okay with saying that like a man might be better at being an engineer than I'm not saying a woman couldn't be an engineer.
They're more inclined.
But they might be more inclined.
Like they're just more inclined to do so. It's just, you could say, more natural in a way, as far as
men?
Yeah. And it's not saying anything less about women or anything, it's just yeah.
I mean, I feel like my whole life I was like in my masculine, like I have to compete, I have to thrive, I have to be productive, I have to do this, I have to do this, like, and I'm just like, like now, like he's like, he takes that pressure off of me. I have never ever in my life been more creative, more in the flow state, more present, more like happier. I've never been like happier, more full of love, because he's giving me the space to thrive.
Yes, what a blessing.
And like, imagine like what his life would be like without me, right? So because he gives me that space, and because I can be like just this like amazing natural like feminine butterfly, like that's just enriching his life in so many ways that he would not have if he was like treating me like he would a man. You know what I mean?
Right. Yep.
And I think a lot of men in relationships treat their women like either business partners, or they treat them the way they treat men, or they expect them to compete or like, rise to some occasion, or you know what I mean? But it's like, I don't know, I just feel like women have really lost touch with being women, like, and we're so special. Like we give life.
I know.
You know what I mean? Like we're the bridge between heaven and earth. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like we're so special, and I think that should be honored, Yeah.
That you facilitate life. At the very least, you create that space for life to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, and there's a bond with the child and a mother that, is like this unbroken connection, like they say that the blood of a child stays in the mother for like forever or something. I don't know, like you're like always connected, like that's like such a beautiful bond. It's just, I don't know, life is just amazing. And I just love being a woman. Sorry. I just like, I love it. Daniel has been eating the same, he eats the same thing every day.
Oh, no kidding. What's that?
Yeah.
I eat.
Here, do you want this?
I eat sweet peas, green sweet peas, 2 bags, so 32 ounces
Yes.
for lunch at 12 o'clock with tahini and lemon juice and a little pepper.
Very yummy. Love
And
tahini.
yeah, tahini's great. Yeah, very, very good. Sesame seed is a very easy digestible. And then I only have that for lunch. And I actually have been adding artichoke bottoms that I get from Trader Joe's to that because they just taste so delicious. So I have that. And then for dinner, I'll have a soup made with zucchini, organic zucchini, sliced up, peeled, and peas and the artichoke bottoms all mixed up in a soup.
Okay, more peas and more artichoke.
Yeah. And then after that, I'll have a 16-ounce bag of peas with tahini, lemon juice, and pepper.
He eats like the same 5 things every day.
So that's it. And I also add flaxseed powder to my lunch.
You add like celery powder? Or
No, I don't. I used to add collard greens, but I'm running low, so I'm keeping it.
Wow,
for my
very
juices.
nice.
Oh, and I drink a collard green juice in the morning
Very nice.
with a little lemon
But
juice.
he doesn't eat any salt.
Yeah, no salt,
oil.
and I don't eat anything outside of those
He
ingredients.
he won't eat anything not organic.
Yeah.
And he has not eaten in the restaurant. He's done this
Yeah,
for like 3
I haven't
years.
eaten anything outside these
Wow.
ingredients in the
So
past 3
even
years.
though
Power.
he's not raw vegan, and he's not like breatharian or anything, but he has developed and mastered these like the discipline of not eating in restaurants,
Right.
not eating oil, not eating salt.
Yeah, nothing
Eating
artificial,
the same
nothing
time
in a
every day. Like
box.
he's
Yeah,
very
same time every day,
fast.
intermittent fasting every day. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just made me feel better. I know that's just I connected to what is good for myself, for my higher self.
It's
and
very nice.
just,
Yeah. And we don't have, I feel like we don't have to stick to this mold of like, I want to be raw vegan.
Exactly.
Because if you're raw vegan, then a lot of times we like weasel our way into the label, like for example, by, consuming way too much fat, which is going to hurt us, or consuming way more meals in a day and trying to adhere to this label of I want to be raw vegan. I want to be 100%. And I'm only 60, I want to crank it up. But is that really that much better than, for example, working on, for example, like you do, sticking to a habit and like,
figuring
eating
out what's good for
mindfully
you.
and just seeing what you enjoy.
Yeah. See what works for you.
I think that's honorable to do that. That's very nice.
It's a lot of trial and error. I mean, you try, but as long as you want to like eat the right way for yourself, you're going to figure it out. Yeah. I figured it out for myself.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Well, should we end it?
Okay.
Do you want to end it, or you want to add anything else?
No. Appreciative to have this nice union today, and hopefully someone that's listening can be inspired by something we said, or contribute to this conversation, maybe on the comments, or hopefully someone gets some benefit out of it.
What if somebody wants to contact you?
If someone wants to contact me, they can reach me at let's see, because I have this this group. Well, you can reach me at officially Kingsbury on Instagram right now, and I might create another platform where we can have these types of conversation as well. But in the meantime, officially Kingsbury. Probably reach me in Instagram.
This was fun.
Yeah,
it was nice meeting you too.
Yeah, likewise. Thank you so much.
All right, bye, guys.
Peace.
Bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye.